How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Invictus Racing League. I am your host, as always. My name is Jakob, bringing you here for the penultimate round for the Invictus League, the first season on PC. We are here for round 11 of the Russian Grand Prix. One of probably my personal favourite tracks, I will admit as well. I'm very much looking forward to getting this one underway. Without further ado, I'll just go ahead and read you out the standings just so then you know who is where, and I'm sure you can also see that on your screen as well. But as you can see, Scope, he took the championship last week. He took second place at Azerbaijan. That was all he needed to do. In fact, he only really needed to finish in P4, and he'd done even better finishing in second. So he is on 132 points altogether. Skyzy, it's mathematically impossible for him to catch up. Of course, with him having that race ban last week, it did not help him whatsoever. But he is currently sitting second in the standings on 95 points. Matty, I just want to say, Mr. Consistent. 5 podium finishes in a row. 4 of them have been on the bottom step of the podium, and I'm hoping to see him tonight try and improve on that. I'm hoping to see at least if he can get onto the top row, or sorry, second or even first, because I know he's been on the bottom row for the past 4, and past 5 he's had at least a second place. But it would be nice to actually see him on that top step, because he is usually fighting with those top 2 Renaults, and it feels like him and Podium Cheetah and Mercs are the only ones that really are getting a chance to, best those 2 Renaults at the top of that standings. But yeah, Matty, he's on 84 points and quickly approaching Skyzy in the championship as well. Be very interested to see how that's going to go down later on in the, well, I'll say later on in the season. We've literally only got 2 rounds left to go, so it'd be interesting to see how in these last 2 rounds, if he does manage to actually catch up to Skyzy. You never know. Podium Cheetah is the one sitting in 4th place at the moment on 52 points. It looks as if he might even be sort of cleared of keeping that 4th place, although I don't know, because the one sitting in 5th now is Mercked, and he's only raced 3 races. And he took the win last week at Azerbaijan. Took second at Hungary after Skyzy had that puncture. So Merckx, for these 3 races that he's joined in, he's instantly put in a challenge to those 2 Renaults, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he's going to keep on challenging these guys today, especially at a track like Russia where overtaking is relatively easy. You can do a lot of side-by-side action, a lot of 90-degree angles, as a lot of people would know, but it's sort of a similar track to Baku in a sense, just a bit more open and a bit more spacious. So again, I'm interested to see how Russia's going to go down. Jos is sitting in 6th, just 1 point behind Merckx. Unfortunate DNF for Jos last week. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, in the pit lane. So very unfortunate for him. Dre Gio picking himself up just a 1 point last week. He is sitting 7th in the championship with 29 points. Rashid, again, as you know, he has unfortunately retired from the league. He is in 8th place with 27 points. Tied with Farnham on 27 points, as Farnham picking himself up, I believe that is P7 last week. Decent result for the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, he is 9th in the championship with 27 points. His teammate only just behind him by 1 point, and Typhoon could be looking to maybe, just maybe, overtake him tonight for the for 9th place in that championship. A little bit of a teammate feud going on there, so be interested to keep our eye out on that one. Gaudio, with his best performance yet last week, finishing in P4 for the McLarens. He is on 21 points in P11. Mags is in 12th with 15 points. Unfortunately, didn't manage to score any points last week after he was, I'm pretty sure he was in P2 at one point, so very unfortunate for the Hash driver. MJ Coop is in 13th with 14 points, tied with Fashion on 14 points as well, who's sitting in P14 ironically. I think he had a decent performance last week, but he could have just done a little bit more to just sort of boost it up a bit more. Ruben, once again, the one that likes to make the race very, very interesting come towards the end of it. He is sitting 15th in the championship on 13 points. In 16th is Jamie Ryan, who again, and Biofreak 17th, both on 10 points. Both have unfortunately left the league. Lacquerate is sitting in 18th with 9 points. Kenner's in 19th with 8 points. He managed to pick up 4th place, of course, in Hungary, as you may know, but unfortunately had DNF'd last week. had some good battles, but it just unfortunately didn't work out for him. I think it was in the castle section, if I remember correctly. SK Fass is sitting in 20th with in the racing point. Plop is in 21st. He picked up his first set of points last week, even though he wasn't actually racing, which is a bit odd, but he did manage to pick himself up his first set of points for the season. So at least he's managed to get those out of the way for him now, and hopefully he can maybe try and pick some more points up in these last two rounds. Crayon is 22nd on just a 1 point. Of course, the only point he's actually picked it up at was the first race of the season at France. And then Hardcore and Bolon, of course, the two that have left the league, both sitting on 0 points at the bottom of the standings. And now over to the constructors for you guys. So as I said, Scope and Skyzy well clear of that. They're 227 points. That's sort of all said and done for those guys. Second in the championship is the Haas team of Matty and Mags on 99 points. Again, I feel like they're more sort of clear now just for having that second place. I don't see the Ferraris or the Alfa Romeos or even the Mercedes try and catch up to them, but it's very close for that third position. 58 points for the Ferrari, 55 points for the Alfa Romeo, 52 points for the Mercedes, 48 for Red Bull, 45 for Williams, 39 for AlphaTauri, and 35 for McLaren. That is all still to play for. From third down to ninth, all of that is still to play for in this championship for that constructors. So that looks like that could be a very, very intriguing battle, and it just depends who comes out on top of that. Of course, with the recent form for the Williams of both Lacqueret and Merckx, I could possibly see them maybe even finishing third in the championship. It just depends on how Ruben and Kenners do in these last couple of rounds. Same with Farnham and Typhoon. They've been getting a bit quicker as of recent, so I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to go between them, and looking forward to it very, very much. But and of course, in 10th aren't the two racing points. They're just on 8 points altogether. Now, we have got a new driver in for this evening. He is in the other AlphaTauri seat. It is Mr. Primal Pro Sniper. Again, he's a newbie to the league now, so I'm very intrigued to see how he is going to fare on with all of these other guys in the league. But of course, without further ado, let's just get straight into qualifying. And of course, we unfortunately we haven't started a bit later than what we usually do. I think there was just a few technical issues with a couple of the other drivers, but again, is one that I am looking forward to seeing how this is going to go. Primal Pro Sniper is just sitting in the pits at the moment, so he is not one that we're going to go on board with. It in fact looks like it's going to be a racing point that's going to be the first one across the line, and it looks like it's going to be SK Fass. So what we're going to do is, as soon as he hits the line, we're just going to sit on board with him. We'll ride on board and just let him take it away for us. But I'm intrigued to see if a few of these guys are going out on what tyres they are going out on, and also may have a little bit a few stats for yourself. I'm just going to quickly pull them up for you. Bear with me 1 second. Here we go. So, what I have been told here. So, a win for Scope for tonight would be a new Invictus record of 31 wins, which is equal, at the moment he's equal with Mr. CRG Gamer on the PS4 side. The last race it was a record extending 73rd podium for Scope, and a few more could be broken tonight. But as I said, we're going to go on board with SK Fass, and we'll just let him take you around the track of the Sochi Autodrome. So there you go, that is a lap of the Sochi Autodrome. SK First comes across the line and does himself a 31.3 as Merckx instantly bests that and goes and does a 30.58 tenths of a second faster. Lacarate just behind him goes and does a 30.9, just 4 tenths slower than of course his teammate Kenners, making his way across the line as well, puts it into P4 a 32.1. I see a Hastas coming across, that is Stefano, a 31.9. I believe that is actually Mags if I'm not mistaken, Stefano. So yeah, we'll keep our eye out on him and see how he does. Matty, of course, actually isn't here tonight, so it's going to make it difficult for him to get past Skyzy. I mean, if Skyzy literally just finishes in top 2, then I don't think he can really compete with Skyzy, especially being 11 points behind him so far. Speaking of that, Skyzy puts it into P2 a 30.6 for the Renault driver. Jos just about got on board with him, but he's unfortunately invalidated his lap. Primal is just on an out lap at the moment. Dre Geo comes into the pits. He wasn't happy with his lap as well from the looks of things. Mr. Stim, or Plow Up as people like to call him, he's got himself some wing damage, so he is not going to be carrying on with his lap time either. Farnham has invalidated as well, so he's not going to be carrying that on either. Very, very unfortunate for him in that part as well. I was just getting the stream chat up real quick, see if anybody's put anything. It doesn't look as if they have, so but yeah, again, I'm intrigued. Like first 6 minutes of qualifying, Merckx, Skyzy, Lacarate, SK First, Gaudio, Stefano, Kenners and Crayon as the top 8. Of course, Jos, Scope, Primal, Fashion, Dre, Farnham, MJ Coop and Blow Up not doing a lap as of yet. Typhoon, I believe, also did join the session late. So he is in here, but he isn't in a car yet, which is a bit odd. But yeah, we'll keep our eye out for him a bit later on as the session goes on. We'll run on board with the new driver of Mr. Primal Pro Sniper and see how he fares on in this grid. Goes a little bit wide going through technically turn 2, but managed to hook it up quite nice going through turn 3. Turn 4, he, for some reason, just downshifted a bit. Downshifted for some strange reason, not too sure why. Unfortunately, missing the apex at the entrance of turn 4. And then making his way around turn 5 and coming up to turn 6 as well. To turn 5 quite nicely actually, got quite a nice exit out of there, but he has to back off a little bit from that turn, so it's going to hamper his lap a bit as well. Makes his way through probably the fastest left-hander of the track, and well, I said fastest left-hander, I keep forgetting that turn 4 exists. For some reason, just this massive curve, it doesn't seem to occur to me, but Primal Pro Sniper makes his way up towards the end of Sector 2, a 106.7. He might be in contention with Crayon in P8 at the moment, but he's making his way probably around the most complex part of this track now, of the final sector. Just wants to be careful he doesn't spin it through there. Gets quite a nice entrance into there, but a very, very bad exit. Just went way too wide coming out of there, so again, going to hamper his lap, but making his way around the penultimate corner and up towards the final corner now. Is it in contention with Crayon? It's just a little bit behind him, but he did invalidate at the final corner, so unfortunately for him, that lap is not going to count. But our current champion of Scopefield, the Swedish man, will ride on board with him as he's just making his way up towards the end of the first sector. Is it purple? It is purple, 32.8. Very, very good time from him at the moment. Kenners is the one that is just behind him, as you can see on your screen there. But Scope is the one that we're focusing on. Very nice exit coming out of one of the faster right-handers in the track as well, and also through the left-hander as well. Now making his way up towards the second DRS straight, and let's have a look at how Scope's gonna, if he manages to break it in time, and if he's purple in sector 2. This is looking like a very quick lap from the Swede as well. This could be a mid to low 30s. It could literally be just up ahead of Malc, although he has a bit of a lock up going into the entrance, but he's hooked that up very, very nicely as well. So now making his way around the final chicane to make his way up to the final 2 corners. Of course, he has got a racing point just up ahead of him. I believe that is Plow Up or Mr. Stim. as sorry, it's SK Fast just up ahead of him. But Scope around the final corner. It's a 30.4. He chucks it on pole position for now. Does the Swede. Kenner's just starting his lap, and I can see a McLaren coming into the pits. That would be Fashion. I can also see a AlphaTauri that's just making his way around the final 2 corners. That is Primal Pro Sniper, who again, he's unfortunately invalidated. He's done a 33.7, but he's going to be going again for another lap as well. MJ Coupe is going to be the next one across the line as he makes his way around the final corner. Is it in contention with the likes of Gaudio and Stefano? It's not. He's about 6 tenths off. Jos as well. P8, a 32.0 for the Flying Dutchman, as I like to call him. Crayon, I believe, has just started his lap, as well as I believe Skyzy is also just starting his lap. So Frenchman possibly trying to best his teammate for this track for tonight. We'll keep our eye out and see how the Frenchman does fare on throughout the course of this track. But Dre Gio is going to be the next one to make his way across the line of 105.3 so far. It's going to put him around sort of where Gaudio and Stefano are at the moment. So Dre Gio making his way around the final corner now. Where is this going to actually put him in this table? It's actually a lot lower than I anticipated. So he goes into P11 doing a 32.3. I believe Stefano just came across the line and invalidated, so there's not going to be a time for him. Farnham just starting the lap. The 2 Williams. Malc puts it in pole by 4 tenths of a second. So Malc up into first place, a 30.0. And I was expecting pole position to be something like at least a low 30, but I was not expecting that we could be seeing the 29s. SK Fast, a 31.2, and is he on a lap? No, he's not. So he did manage to do his lap. He goes into P5, a 31.2 for, I believe he is, am I right correct in saying he's, no, he's not Scottish. I'm not too sure, but yeah, he goes into P5, so good result from him. Gaudio, I believe, is on a lap, however. Yeah, he is. He's making it to the end of the first sector at 33.2. He's 700ths of a second up on his time, so he's looking to try and contend with that racing point of SK Fast just up ahead of him. And speaking of that, he's also got his teammate just up ahead of him as well, so maybe looking to give him a little bit of slipstream on the second DRS straight, although it doesn't look like he will. So Gaudio, we're on board on McLaren as he's just making his way now DRS wide open for the Italian as he's just making his way up towards the end of the first sector. What is his sector 2 time going to be? A 104.8, and this is actually purple sector 2, 2 tenths up on his time, and it's purple, which is very intriguing because Skyzy, I didn't even see that time pop up. A 29.8. For some reason, that time did not pop up on my screen, but the Frenchman, I said someone was going to get in the 29s, and he's the first one to get himself into those 29s. So Skyzy, a 29.8. Gaudio did improve on his time. He did stay, unfortunately, in P6, but a 131.2 for the Italian. Mr. Stim, I was about to say is still on a lap, but he's unfortunately spun at the final chicane. So I don't think he's going to carry on with that lap unless he literally just crosses the line to get that lap done. But it does not look like he is going to. So no time for blow up as he does break his wing on the pit entrance. Just seeing who else is currently on a lap. Crayon, I didn't even realise, by the way, he's also improved. There's a few guys, I'm not too sure why it's not popping up or why I just keep on missing them. Skyzy, of course, the first one on the set in the 29s. Crayon jumps up into P7 with 31.9, literally 3 thousandths of a second up ahead of Stefano. For some reason, none of that seems to be popping up, which is very, very weird. Farnham was, I think it said he was 5 tenths down on his time, so I don't think he's going to have any sort of improvement on his lap time. So I believe Farnham will see him in. He is coming in, yes. So Farnham into the pits. Kenners, I believe, is just coming around to start his lap. He is indeed. There is a Williams that is just behind him, which is Lacquerate. For some reason, completely missed the pit entrance. But Fashion is going to be the next one. In fact, no, he also comes into the pits, and so does Gaudio. But there are a few guys that are currently out at the moment. Kenners is going to be the next one across the line to actually do a lap time for himself. So, alright, we'll keep on board with the Ferrari driver as he makes his way around the long curve of turn 4. Can be very, very lethal in the wet, I must admit. So if it's raining, could be a bit interesting. But I know the strategies around here is an easy soft to medium. He's 5 tenths up on his time, actually. So Kenners could be well within jumping up from P10 up into P6. Maybe, just maybe, if he hooks it all up together, he could jump into P5. Could be interesting. We'll keep our eye out on it. But at the moment, it just looks like it's a Renault versus Williams battle for that pole position at the moment. Of course, we've got 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go of the qualifying session. And at the moment, Skyzy is the only one into the 29s, as Kenner's 8 tenths up on his time now. So this is really putting him in contention with that P5 spot. Kenners, we're just going to stick on board with him now as he makes his way up towards the final chicane. He's got to get that stopped in time, and he's done very nicely to get that one stopped. Coming around that final chicane now again. Very nice exit from him as well, as in fact, he's not happy with it. He goes into the pits, but I don't get that because he was 8 tenths on, even 9 tenths up on his time. Which is very, very interesting. I'm not too sure why he has backed out of that. But Stefano we're right on board with, or Mags. I think he did change his name. So Mags, as he's just making his way now through Sector 2. Quite tight and twisty, quite easy to invalidate if you do make just one slight mistake. Making his way up towards the DRS straight now. Just coming up to it now as he does open his DRS. Coming up towards the end of Sector 2 is the Haas driver. Is it purple maybe? It says purple, but he's 4 tenths up on his time, so that's going to put him just up ahead of Gaudio. And again, it could be another one where if he has a perfect Sector 3, it could put him up ahead of SK Fast. So we'll keep on board with Mags. As in fact, that was very nicely taken. And this really could be up within past SK Fast. It could even be into the 30s. Let's have a look. Stefano. It is a 31.1. He does go up ahead of SK, but is still in P5. So a very good lap time indeed from the Haas. As I say that, someone just improved. Who was it that just came across the line? It was a McLaren. It was... I can't really see because there's so many people that have just come out. It was Scope. I think he improved on his time. So 30.2, yeah. 30.2 is what Scope's done. So there's not going to be any more improvement from him. And I feel like that might be the best time he's got, unless he's trying to save that ERS and go again. But his little red fuel light is flashing. So he isn't going to be having another time this session. So at the moment, Skyzy is the one on pole. As Blop has retired from the session. He's actually binned it. As Lacquerate has just started a lap, there's a lot of people that are going to be making their way across the line to finish their laps or starting their laps. And I think the first one is going to be Mr. MJ Coupe, who's unfortunately invalidated his lap, so he's more than likely going to go for another lap. So Crayon is into the pits, so he was going to be the next one, but yeah, into the pits he goes. Stefano, very, very slowly. Gaudio, he's on an out lap. Jos, he's on a slow lap as well. I think he's just trying to save his ERS, just if I'm not mistaken, although it says he's run out of fuel, so, or running out of fuel, shall I say. Yeah, so Jos into the pits. SK Fast is going to be the next one then, as long as he doesn't actually come into the pits. So we'll keep on board with the Racing Point driver, as he's just making his way around that final chicane now, to make his way up towards the penultimate corner and the final corner. And we'll see how the Racing Point fares on. Is it an improvement on his time? I didn't actually get to see the delta time of it, if it's an improvement or not. A 30.6 goes the Racing Point. It goes up ahead of Lacquerate as well. So very good time from him, as Skyzy up towards the line. A 29.8. He's done a 29.9, so no improvement from there. No improvement from Malc either. And Malc almost made it across the line to start another lap, but a 30.0 for Malc. That's the best he is going to get. Farnham, again, another one that's the best he's going to get. He's actually tied the same time with Crayon. A 31.951. Kenners starting in P11 at 32.1, although it could be down to fashion to change that. Scope retired from the session, so it looks like Skyzy is going to be the one on pole position, unless Gaudio has something to say about that. But I'm not going to lie, I don't see that is happening. However, Fashion up to the line at 31.6, just behind his teammate Gaudio, is the only other one yet to do a lap, as MJ Coupe puts it into P7. Actually, I didn't even see that he was carrying on with the lap. So MJ Coupe at 31.4, very good time for the Red Bull. And I think this might be one of the first times that MJ is actually starting up ahead of Jos, if I'm not mistaken, as Gaudio just jumps back into that P7 position, a 31.3 for the Italian, and that is all she wrote for qualifying. Skyzy has put it on pole position, a 29.8 for the Frenchman. It was a very good lap time from him. It's just all reliant on SK Fass and Skyzy just to retire so we can get this race underway. But Merckx, he gave it his all. He gave him a very good, well, he tried to best the Renault of Skyzy. Skyzy, when it comes to qualifying, it always just seems to be he's, excuse me, the better one going through qualifying. It's just when it comes to the actual race, it's just a bit difficult for him to try and keep it up in the race. I know racing with paddock can be a bit difficult to do so, especially with tyre temperatures, but yeah, I mean, as I said, Merckx, he done a very good job. He's sitting in second. He's splitting both of the Renaults with Scope in third place. And of course, we're just waiting for Skyzy to retire from the session. And I will give you the full qualifying results, although you can see them on your screen as well. I will be giving you the full qualifying results as soon as Skyzy has retired from the session. If you are new to this, of course, it does mean that it is a soft to medium strategy. Relatively easy to do. I'll be shocked if I see anybody go on the hards, because it will slow you. It doesn't help. It will slow you down, to put it completely honest. But I was reading out a few facts at the beginning of the session. I'll carry on with the facts. So, as I said, a win for Scope could be a new Invictus record of 31 wins. At the moment, he is equal with CRG Gamer on 30 with on PS4. The last race was a record extending 73rd podium for Scope. Scope could still be the most points ever scored in a season, which is 147 again by CRG Gamer, and Scope's 156th race in Invictus, up to 4th in all-time starts lists. So Scope, a bit of a legend in the scene now for Invictus, I must admit. But qualifying results: Skyzy on pole, Merckx in second, Scope in third, SK Fass in fourth, Lacrate in fifth, Stefano in sixth, Gaudio seventh, MJ Coupe in eighth, Fashion in ninth, Jos in 10th, Farnham 11th, Crown 12th, Kenners 13th, Farnham in 12th, Dragio in 13th. Dragio was in 14th, Kenners was in 13th. My apologies. And I didn't manage to catch the bottom two, but I believe it was Primal, Pro, Sniper, and Mr. Stim or a blow up as the final two. But we are just waiting for the go ahead from the admins to get this one started, and then we can be straight underway for the race this evening. And of course, if you guys are watching, make sure to get your top 3 predictions in. I usually do this every week, and I'm going to say that I reckon Skyzy's going to take the win. I think he's going to get a bit of redemption for a disqualification in Hungary, and unfortunately having that race ban last week in Baku. I think he's going to take the win tonight. I reckon Merckx is going to be second, and I think Scope will finish third. In fact, I think Scope will finish second. I think it'll be a Renault 1-2. And yeah, I think Merckx will finish third. So we'll keep our eye on that one as well. But it's looking like it's a dry session, dry qualifying, dry race as well. And let's see what the guys outside of the top 10 have opted to go on. So the only two that are going with something different is Farnham and Crayon. They are going on a set of the medium tyres. So no one has opted to go for the hards, which is good to see. You can see Typhoon down the bottom of your screen. For some reason, it's plopped him in a Merc. He usually does race in an Alfa Romeo. Not too sure why it's plopped him in a Merc, but I suppose it is what it is. However, yeah, I mean, just looking through it as well, I'm a little bit surprised to see Jos down in 10th place. Usually, he's usually between sort of like 5th and 7th or 5th and 8th. So, Jos down in 10th position, it's a bit of an underwhelming qualifying for him. And I'm intrigued to see if he's going to be making up places on the grid. Mags, by the way, in 6th place, doing the Haas is proud. Of course, Matty not being here tonight, who's sitting 3rd in the standings. Podium Cheater is sitting 4th in the standings, but at the moment, he isn't actually here tonight. And Merck is the one that's sitting in 2nd, so 4th in the standings could be well open if Merck does take the win tonight. Even 2nd place. So we'll keep our eye out on how that goes. But of course, we are just waiting for all of these guys to make their way to the grid. As Skyzy just lagged backwards. That was interesting. Everyone's lagging. It's not my connection or anything, is it? Doesn't look like it. Not too sure as to why everything is lagging like that, but yeah. Skyzy's just making his way up towards the line. I can see there has been a spinner on at the formation lap. It is Kenner's. And hopefully that's not a sign of things to come in the race. So let's have a look. We're just waiting for Kenneth to line up on his grid spot as he just approaches it now. And we can get this race well underway. And again, I'll be intrigued to see how this is all going to go with all of these guys. So, let's see who is going to get the better run from this start. You've got the 4-5 red lights. And it is lights out and away we go. A very long hold for that one, but Scope has got on a very good start in comparison to the likes of his teammate and Merck as well. Merck trying to come up alongside Skyzy. Of course, Scope is going to have the slipstream coming down towards turn 2. Merck just trying to pull out anywhere that he can to try and get through. Lacrate diving it down the inside of Scope towards towards turn 2, but Scope does manage to hold it around the outside. And Stefano has now jumped up into P4, so Mags into 4th position, and now Gaudio is trying to fight Lacrate in here. Turn 4 going almost 3 wide in towards turn 5. Very, very close racing between the two of them. Fashion and MJ Coop as well were both side by side. And Fashion getting past MJ Coop and now trying to dive it down the inside of Stefano, but just going well off track from that as well. SK Fast starting in 5th. He's all the way down in 11th already as Primal Pro Sniper. The newbie of the league. He's actually already up into P10, so he's had a very, very good start. But at the moment, Stefano a little bit of a wobble off of that start, or off of that corner, so it's allowing Fashion to maybe try and have a bit of a go at him. But the top 4 have all remained the same. Skyzy, Merc, Scope and Lacquerate. And at the moment, I mean, I said Skyzy and Scope were going to be the top 2. I know it's only lap 1, but we'll keep our eye out and see how things are going to go. As Fashion just a little bit of a tap into the back of Stefano, as Kenners and Coop both side by side now. As MJ is actually Kenners going around the outside of MJ Coop in towards the beginning of Sector 3, as very close racing as well between SK Fast and MJ Coop. Both were side by side. I think MJ Coop shutting the door on him, and now Jos is trying to go down the inside, locks up, but gets that move done as SK Fast. Very, very wobbly. I don't know what is happening with him. He just looks like he's already overheated those tyres. It does say that DRS is enabled. I can tell you now it's not. It's not enabled at the moment. Here we are only on lap 2 for some reason. The game still hasn't fixed itself and thinks that we're on lap 3. No idea why, but Skies and Merc, they've already left Scope and Lacquerate, so a very good start for these top 2. And, well, it's been a good start for both Scope and Lacquerate, but it's been an even better start for Merc and Skies, and these two just look like they are going to have an absolute ruthless battle to the end of this race. I know it's only lap 2, but I'm calling it now. These two are going to have a very good battle come towards the middle and the end of this race. Meanwhile, a little bit further down the field, you can also see there's a bit of a battle going on here for 10th. Jos just in a little bit of a train here, being the lead conductor. I'll say that it's actually Mr. Primal Pro Sniper as his teammate Dre Gio trying to go down the inside of Farnham. Farnham, of course, being on those medium tyres. If he tries to hold it down the inside, which he is trying, he hasn't unfortunately managed to make it. But there is a spinner, and it is SK Fast. So the Racing Point, unfortunately, going round, and he's got himself some left end plate damage. Very, very unfortunate for him, to say the least. But the RS is now open, and Mags coming up closer and closer to the back of Gaudio. Has to stay behind the Italian for now, as Farnham and Mr. Stim both going side by side, and Farnham going down the inside of Stim with that DRS. I think we're going to see the majority of the overtakes happen there tonight, going down in towards turn 2. But at the moment, it's now lap 3. Skyzy still up ahead of Malc, and Lacrate still, Scope still up ahead of Lacrate. But of course, all of those guys are now going to have DRS. The 2 Renaults won't, the 2 Williams will. And as I said, it's just a battle going on between those 2 guys there, and I'm a bit intrigued to see how this is going to fare on throughout the rest of the race. As it stands, Merckx, DRS is now wide open for him. He's trying to attack the leader here. He's gone purple as well, but Skyzy breaking late enough to make sure he stays up ahead. As now Stefano and Gaudio both side by side. Gaudio just trying to hold it down the inside. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. But Stefano getting the move done on the McLaren, or a little bit of a slide coming out of there as well. But Gaudio, unfortunately, hasn't managed to get the place done, and there was a bit of wing damage there. I think that was from Fashion. I think Fashion went into the back of Mags, and he's got himself some right end plate damage. You can see it there, yeah, on the front of his car. Right end plate just sticking out. So that's going to cause him a lot of time. However, he is going to have the DRS still with his teammate. As you see, DRS now wide open. Same with Gaudio, but they're not close enough to get any sort of move done. Meanwhile, Merckx, I thought was maybe ironing up a move going in towards turn 2. However, he's had to stay behind him. So no move no change for the lead as of yet. Fashion, by the way, even with that wing damage, I know it's been relatively fast corners so far. He's done a very good job of keeping up with him. Although saying that, yeah, there we go. That's now what's caused it. And MJ Coupe maybe iron up a move down the inside. He's just having to stay behind the McLaren, which is going to cost the Red Bull a lot more time as well. Although MJ Coupe gets a much better exit coming out of turn 6, and now down the inside, he's completely cut the corner. Oh, that wasn't good. So MJ was trying to leave space for Fashion because of that overtake, and then Kenners thought that was an opportunity just to turn in, no idea why, and now he's gotten himself some wing damage as well. So both Fashion and Kenners with that wing damage. Kenners, I think his is on the left, whereas Fashion's is on the right, so they're both going to have an advantage at least at different points. But there is the other Red Bull of Jos just behind him, and of course he may know that these 2 have got wing damage, so he might try and play this a little bit smarter than what his teammate did. Of course, as Fashion into the pits. Kenners, I think he won't have any DRS. It'll be Jos with that DRS, and saying that, he's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. However, Kenners, I don't think he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck going down in towards turn 2. So let's keep our eye out on the Dutchman as he's now got DRS wide open. Kenners trying to move to the middle of the track, just keeping to the racing line instead. Jos, not a lot of ERS left either, actually. It's only lap 5, and he's only got on about 25% left. And Jos, oh, massive Cone Brown moment. Very, very close to say the least. That was a massive Cone Brown moment. But he's managed to hold it in the end as Typhoon and Dre Gio were both side by side. Dre Gio getting a much better exit than what Typhoon did, but just backs off from that battle. Typhoon, started at the back of the grid, he's already up into P9, so he's had a very good start. He's had a very good start, but Dre Gio as well, just keeping on to the back of the person who should be in the Alfa Romeo, but for some reason the game's put him in the Mercedes. No idea why. And we are seeing a bit of a battle brew here for P3, as well as this battle for first and this battle for ninth place as well. Dragio still all over the back of Typhoon. And it just looks like Dragio is a little bit more comfortable. As saying that, I thought he was going to try and go for a dive out the inside. Typhoon did just shut the door. And rightly so, because it was his corner. But that was very, very close from Dragio. As now, of course, he's going to have the DRS as well. And look how much of a better run he's got on in comparison to Typhoon. Typhoon moves down to the inside. He will have the inside for turn 2, but Dragio overtake on DRS wide open. And that is the Mercedes done already. Move past words. They're hard. We've got a bit of a battle leading up here for P12. Both Plop and Plop and MJ Coupe. I was just looking at that. It was a very weird one. As Plop trying to go down the inside of MJ Coupe now. In towards turn 6. Oh, MJ Coupe just shutting the door on the racing point. Very close racing between the two of them, and an even more close racing between these two, Skyzy and Malc. These two are inseparable, and same with Lacerate and Scope. As Lacerate a little bit, another Code Brown moment, but not as big as what Yoss's one was. It was still a bit of a Code Brown moment though, I must admit. But he's doing well just to hold on to P4. And if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to have a double check on this, if I am not mistaken, this could be Lacerate's best result of the season so far. If he finishes in that P4, it will be, because he's only gotten 3 points finishes, and the best that he's finished was in P6. As MJ Coupe into the pits, one of the first ones into the pits to get changed onto a new set of tyres. Fashion and Prime Promo Sniper as well. They have put themselves onto a set of the hards. Again, really surprised that they have, because mediums can practically go the whole race. So really surprised that they have opted to go on a set of the hards. But MJ Coupe goes on a set of the mediums, and I think this is actually one of the first legitimate pit stops as well. But this battle here for first position, Skyzy could be a little bit of a sitting duck now, as Merc looks a bit more closer than what he has been through the previous few attempts. Merc, DRS now wide open, not putting it in to overtake Skyzy, just trying to hold as much inside as he can, just to not allow Merc to catch up. And same with Scope, although Lacerate very close to the back of him as Scope. Massive lock up on my screen anyway. He probably didn't actually lock up on his screen, but Omar's massive lock-up going in towards the beginning of Sector 3. And the two Manos doing pretty well just to hold on to the two Williams so far. Although, saying this, now Skyzy could be a bit of a sitting duck, although it looks like he's getting away a little bit more. However, DRS now wide open for Merc. The Williams, he's getting closer, he's edging closer. Again, he's just not close enough though. And I think the same goes for Lacerate. Although saying that, look how much he is gaining on Scoped. Could we be seeing him going in towards turn 2? No, we do not. Lacerate just staying behind the Renault for now, and completely understandable as well. Yoss coming up to the back of the Ferrari of Kenners. And you got to remember, Kenners picking up that wing damage going off of his teammate. Or going off of Yoss's teammate, shall I say. So you've got to think this could be a bit of an easy pass for Yoss. Although, looking at it, I think Kenners is getting away from Yoss. So has Yoss picked himself up any damage as well? It doesn't seem to look like he has. Again, it's another interesting one. Another interesting one. But, back on board with the battle for the leaders. Still no move being done whatsoever. It's looking like Skyzy is going to be just maintaining that lead for now. Scope is still going to be maintaining that third position, and they're just running sort of 2x2, going in Noah's Ark style at the moment, and still saying that as well for P7 and P8. Kenners versus Yoss, Ferrari versus Red Bull, Renault versus Williams. This is taking me back. But just keeping on board with both of these battles here for first and for third. And it just looks like both of the Williams in a straight line. They just don't look like they're as quick as what they should be. Lacarate looks really quick in a straight line. However, Malc just looks like he's more built for getting around corners. And saying this as well as P7, going to be a bit of a change here. Jos goes into 7th position. Kenners has to stay behind the Red Bull now, especially with that wing damage. As Lacarate, a 3-second time penalty for him. Very, very intriguing. I was saying this. Look at this. Look at Kenners with that wing damage, trying to go around the outside of Jos into turn 4 to have the inside into turn 5. Has to cut the corner, and Jos maintains that P7 position. So good battle from these two. Good manoeuvre of Jos keeping up that P7 as Kenners picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Crayon into the pits for a set of hard tyres. But it's getting to the point now where the Renaults are starting to gap a bit more those two Williams. Scope's starting to get a bit more of a lead on Lacarate, and then Skyzy getting a bit more of a lead on Malc, which is a bit odd considering that they were sort of lapping each other in times. Lapping the same pace as each other. As Skyzy into the pits, so he's the first one to make his way into the pits. Malc did not follow him. And of course you can see on the right hand side of your screen our pit window is open. As let's see, where does Skyzy come out in relation to this pit stop? He's going to be behind Jos. He's going to be behind Dre. Is he going to be behind Typhoon though? I don't think he will be. I think he'll come out just up ahead of Typhoon. It does look like he will. So Skyzy, a little bit of making up to do if he wants any chance of still being able to win this race. And I must admit, Skyzy has had some absolute rotten luck from the last two races that he's actually raced in, so Hungary and Spa, where, of course, he had that puncture in Hungary. Skyzy just getting past Dre Gio there. But yeah, he had that puncture in Hungary, and then in Spa 2 or 3 times where he was in the lead by about 11 or 12 seconds. Unfortunately for him, the safety cars will come out. Just like that, a virtual safety car comes out. Jos just spinning it at the entrance to the second DRS straight, as you can see on your screen there. Unfortunately for Jos, his front right tyre has just gone kaput. But yeah, as I was saying about Skyzy, of course, as I said, a bit of rotten luck for him. And I'm hopefully for him, he will manage to take the win on this race today. However, because the virtual safety car is out, the top 5 have pit. So, this could be extremely beneficial for these top 5. However, Lacarate, he's going to have to double stack with Malc. And Malc, he, I think, has just been given a free pit stop. Yeah, he's come out in the lead of the race because of it. So Malc, absolutely gifted, and straight back out of the pits he comes, and DRS is instantly enabled again to Skyzy. Absolute, oh, it's just unfortunate. Again, I feel like I've just commentators cursed him. I really do. I genuinely feel like I've commentators cursed him. Because once again, he was in the lead of the race. He was up ahead of Malc. He stuck up ahead of him. And I know that Skyzy was a bit quicker going through it now, so he does have the ability to try and catch up to the back of the Williams. However, with them being so evenly matched on pace, it's going to be difficult for the Frenchman to try and catch up. It only takes his one mistake, and he can be well back within it as well. But then again, it also takes one mistake from one of the other guys. Take one mistake from Skyzy to be well out of it, and Scoped just to stay behind Typhoon. Although I say stay behind, Typhoon pulling to the inside. Scoped is going to have that DRS already past the Alfa Romeo, who's in the Mercedes, and yet into P3 goes Scope. So at the moment, I've got the podium right. I've just got them in the wrong order. It says yellows in sector 3. Plop is out of the session. That was actually at a corner as well. Are we going to be seeing a safety car come out? Just looking at Fashion's point of view, that's right on the racing line. Yep, there you go, safety car. Had the suspicion, it comes straight out. And that's actually going to put a bit of a damper on Farnham. Because Farnham's on the mediums at the moment. I mean, to be fair, he can go on the softs to the end of the race. It's not going to be a problem for him. And they are already ahead of the safety car, to my knowledge. Yes, they are. So, Farnham, he's still going to be under Delta. And he's still going to be able to make that pit stop and not take a massive whack in positions. To be fair, he'll probably come out in P7, just up ahead of JGO. But, unfortunate for Mr. Stim, another DNF to his name. Second DNF of the session. I said very unfortunate for him as Crayon into the pits. Sped in the pit lane. Fashion, MJ Coupe, Primal and SK along with Crayon all come into the pits. Primal has chucked on a fresh set of softs. I know I said it's doable. It's difficult, but it is doable. Because they'll be on less fuel than what they were at the beginning of the race. So they can take it a little bit longer. But that, in all fairness, that's now actually really helped Skyzy. Because of that virtual safety car, those guys managed to make the pit stop. Skyzy, of course, was in first. He's now into second place. The only downside is that he's going to have his teammate all over the back of him. That's the only downside to this. Is, yeah, Farnham into the pits. I'm assuming chucking on a fresh set of soft tyres. As I said, he's going to be up ahead of Dre Gio. Or he should be up ahead of Dre Gio. Out of the pits because they are all still under Delta until they cross the line. So Dragio and Typhoon. I don't know actually. Let's have a look. Farnham's just got into his box now and they're just coming across the final corner. In fact, he's going to come up behind the two of them. Yeah, there goes Typhoon and there goes Dragio. Yeah, so Farnham. To be fair though, still in 9th place on the softer compounder tyre. The Swede is definitely one we need to look out for. Without a doubt, he is one we will need to look out for for the rest of this race. Because the safety car probably won't be in, not this lap, but on the next lap, as there's been a spinner under the safety car. Where is it? I think it was Primal Pro Sniper. So I saw him dropping down a couple of places. So not too sure what that was about, but well, yeah, very unfortunate for him. At the minute though, we are about halfway into the race now, and at the moment Mercked from that virtual safety car is the one that is sitting on the top step at the moment. Skyzy in second, Scope in third, Lacrate in fourth, Stefano in fifth, or Mags, shall I say, in fifth. Gaudio is in sixth, with Dragio in seventh, Typhoon eighth. Farnham in 9th again. Keep an eye on that one. The same with Kenners as well in 11th. Fashion is in 10th. I said Kenners in 11th on those soft tyres. MJ Coupe in 12th with SK Fast in 13th. Primal Pro Sniper in 14th with Crayon in 15th. And of course our two that has unfortunately DNF from the race so far is Mr. Stim and Yos. But of course we're not going to have the safety car come in this lap. Mercked comes in as he's been disqualified from the session for ignoring yellow flags. I don't know if that's genuine or not. No, that is genuine. What? I'm really confused. I don't know what to say about that, to be completely honest with you. Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. That was very odd. So I think he was just coming in to make a pit stop, a late pit stop, and where he's overtaken the safety car when he's gone into the pits, for some reason, it's just showed that he's ignored yellow flags, and he's been disqualified because of it. So, yeah, that's just happened. Our race leader has been disqualified, in case any of you have just missed it. So Skyzy will now re-inherit the race lead. And Scope is in second, and Lacrate is in third. Yeah. It was very strange. It was very strange. I must admit. Yeah, I'm still lost for words on that. I'm not going to lie. So this car is in this lap, and it's only just called it when they've gotten to the final chicane. So, Skyzy really having to slow down to the point where he's almost stopped. We could be seeing a couple of collisions going on just behind here. As Kenners and MJ Cooper sort of, yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Typhoon, 5-second penalty with a collision with Farnham. And I think that was Farnham going into the back of Typhoon. Skyzy, I think he's about to restart it now. And yes, he has. He's already gone. And look at the gap that he's already gotten to his teammate. Scout was just caught sleeping off that start there. And now Skyzy, off he goes. There are yellow flags though, by the way. I think that was that Kenners that spun or SK Fass? I'm not too sure what just happened there, but we have gotten the restart underway, and Skyzy already pulling out a second gap to his teammate. Lacrate keeping up with the back of Scope, so he's done a very good job of that so far as well. Mags, by the way, into 4th position. I think he's looking to try and match his best finish of the season. Just trying to see where Mags is in the standings. I say match, this will be his best finish of the season. The best he has finished so far is 5th. So in 4th position at the moment. And Lacrate, by the way, has got a 3-second time penalty. So if Max does stay in those 3 seconds of the Williams, then Max will earn his first podium of the season at the penultimate round as well. Fashion now trying to go side by side with Typhoon, going in towards the end of the 2nd sector, beginning of the 3rd sector. Fashion trying to hold it down the inside of the Alfa Romeo in the Mercedes, but Typhoon just looks like he's a bit more quicker in a straight line, and I think probably just used a bit more overtake than the McLaren, so Typhoon retains that P8 position. Farnham, by the way, I just want to say, already up in the P7 on those soft tyres, and is trying to attack JGO here for P6. So this will be a very good result for the Alfa Romeo. I think his best result of the season as well is actually a 3rd place at Austria. So Farnham, he could be on with it actually again, you know. He could very well be on with for another podium position. He just needs to try and play this a bit smart. He's done it well so far, but here we go, another battle going on once again. Fashion and Typhoon is Lacrate, another 3-second time penalty, but Fashion now trying to go around the outside of Typhoon. In towards turn 2 and turn 3. He's actually gotten the move done around the outside. But I think he must have had an illegal overtake. And now Typhoon gets past Fashion. MJ Coupe goes past him as well as SK Fast out of the session and a virtual safety car. Sorry about that. Bit of a croaky voice. For some reason, Fashion's just overtaken Typhoon under the virtual safety car. Not too sure what that's about. But Ken has now just swooped past him. And now has to wait for him. Oh, this is now turning interesting. So when they've overtaken each other under the safety car, Kenneth goes into the wall off the restart. Just from the traction, and he's retired from the session on track. I think he still had a perfectly fine car. He just went straight into the barrier from the traction loss. Yet, you can see his car is moving, so unfortunate for Kenners. And now Farnham they've all sort of got like a second gap to each other in the top 6, but Farnham, he's the one that's trying to keep up with all of this. On those soft tyres, Dragio, he's very low on ERS. In fact, yeah, he's used as much overtake as he can. In fact, he's still in overtake. But so is Farnham. DRS now wide open for the both of them. But not going to see any overtake go down, as they are in a bit of a DRS train. As I said, Farnham, he just needs to play this a little bit smarter. As I said, Lacquerate picked up a second 3-second time penalty. So he is not going to be able to have... Oh! He's not going to be able to have a good result. As who was that? That was Fashion. What did he try there? What is going on with Fashion? He's just going everywhere. He went into the side of Primal Pro Sniper and now he's got half of his wing missing. He went very, very wide out of turn 4. Very, very wide out of turn 5 and very, very wide out of turn 6. Very, very weird. But Crayon going down the inside of Fashion. Fashion just not leaving any room whatsoever as Primal Pro Sniper. A 3-second time penalty for the Alpha Tauri. That was very weird though. That was very, very weird. But we still got this battle going on for P7 here. Sorry, for P6 here. Dragio, Gaudio is now actually involved. So P is a battle for P5. Farnham on those softs. He's gotten a much better run out of that final corner. Both have DRS as well. So it's literally just a straight line battle. But Farnham on with the much better run out of the final corner, already passed Dragio before it even got to the DRS zone. And now Farnham into 6th place. Next up, Gaudio is for 5th place. And Gaudio, you can see up ahead, not really got that much ERS to his name. As Farnham, I'm sure, is looking at that and thinking, okay, I might be able to have some of that. As in fact, the Swede has just gone purple sector 1. So Farnham is absolutely flying through the field. And we could be seeing him take the fastest lap point. As I think at the moment, the one with the fastest lap, I believe, is Skyzy. I believe. Or it might be Malc. I don't know. Let's have a look. No, Skyzy. Okay. But Farnham still not close enough to get any sort of move done on the Italian. Just up ahead of him. But I know he is seeking him down. And he is having an absolute great drive at the moment. Like I said, his best result so far is 3rd place. At the moment, he's in net 5th position, and if he gets past Gaudio, that's 4th for him. I really did not want to try and commentators curse that again. But now that was a Code Brown, almost Code Black moment. Farnham played that. I mean, I'm impressed that he's managed to save that. Very, very impressed he's managed to save that. But he's kept in the P6 from an absolute magnificent save, and now Gaudio under a bit of pressure. He's 1.7 seconds behind Mags. As Mags, he's doing all he can to try and stay within 3 seconds, although it's now 6 seconds. I think Mags is just playing it cautious. As I said, he's in his best position so far. If he stays in 6 seconds now, as long as Mags doesn't pick up a penalty, then he will finish 3rd position. And what I thought was going to be a very tight race between both of the Williams and both of the Renaults, it's just sort of turned into a bit more of a one-horse race with Skyzy once again. 3.5 seconds up ahead of his teammate. Just behind him is Lacquerate now by 2 seconds when they were both battling each other previously. Malc got disqualified. Still not too sure as to why, by the way. So, very, very intriguing. But I'd also just like to point out, on his debut, Mr. Primal Pro Sniper is sitting in a nice, comfy P10. And he's only a second just behind Typhoon. But Dre Gio a bit closer this time than what he was last lap. Final, of course, with the better tyres, with the younger tyres on much softer tyres as well. He's quick coming out of corners, and you can see going through turn 2, even with locking up, you can just see how much of a better exit he gets than the McLaren of Gaudio. Oh, there is a car that has gone round, and I believe that is Fashion. It is at the, well, coming up to the penultimate corner. 35 seconds now separates him and Crown as Farnham, 3-second time penalty. So that is what is going to mess him over now with that 3-second time penalty, because he was pushing it a bit too much. He's now going to have to pay the price for that. Come towards the end of the race, it's Fashion once again going around at the final corner as Farnham now trying to go down the inside of Gaudio in towards the beginning of sector 3, both still keeping it side by side. Gaudio is going to have the inside once again. However, Farnham, I thought he was going to get a bit of a better exit, but no, he is not, and this battle for P5 really is heating up. We've got now MJ Coupe involved in this battle as well, and this could be some decent points for both of the Red Bull team as well. If MJ does manage to move his way up, I don't believe he has a penalty. I could be wrong. I think I could be wrong. I don't think he has a penalty, and if he doesn't, he at least moves up an extra position, so he gets himself up into 7th, at least. But Gaudio under a bit of pressure from Farnham. Farnham now trying to go down the inside in towards turn 2. He's committed to it, but Farnham jumps the curb. Gaudio actually just goes straight across, and as I say that, MJ Coupe picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Typhoon has retired in the pit lane. It's all going on. It's all going on, but Farnham managing to get that move done now. Dre Gio picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, so Gaudio really is in this driver's seat for this battle for P5. And unless Farnham can get away from these guys with 7 laps left to go. And there goes Fashion. But yeah, Farnham really needs to try and get a bit of a move on if he wants a chance of being able to maintain that P5, because Gaudio is all over the back of him. Primal Pro Sniper, another 3-second time penalty for him, by the way. He's now up into 9th place because of Typhoon DNFing from the session. But we are still in this little bit of a trade here. The top 4 are all just sort of split by about 8 seconds apart between all 4 of them. And there are big gaps between them all. Skyzy still doing an absolute stellar job up ahead. As there are more yellow flags once again, it is Fashion. He's being lapped by Crayon. But are we going to see any attempts at a pass going on in towards turn 2? I think everyone in this DRS train is just sort of even, as well as Prime Pro Sniper goes into the pits. Crayon now inherits that P9 position. Excuse me, but you know what? We'll sit on board with the current race leader, Skyzy, because we haven't talked about him much. And as I said, he's done a very, very good job so far of keeping and maintaining that race lead. Of course, before Malc getting DSQ'd, that virtual safety car just did not help him, as for some reason Fashion's gone on a set of wet tyres. But that virtual safety car really did not help Skyzy whatsoever, because then it allowed all of those other guys to get themselves that free pit stop. He got away with it because of the full course safety car coming out, because then it allowed him to just stay within arm's length of Malc, and then Malc all of a sudden getting disqualified. No idea why. Again, I'll have to find out from him soon. I think it was just must have been when they were going into the safety car. But MJ Coupe and Dre Gio both side by side in the penultimate corner. MJ Coupe getting past Dre Gio, the sister team of the Red Bull, but that's costed him a lot of time, and now he won't have any DRS. Dre Gio will have the DRS, and he's going to get the jump on him as MJ Coupe. Barely any ERS to his name, and barely any ERS excuse me, to Dre Gio's name, but both still side by side now. Going in towards turn 2, MJ Coop just trying to give him a little bit of a squeeze going up ahead, but he's got the move done. Although MJ Coop trying to hold it down the inside now in towards turn 4. As Dre Gio just holding it around the outside, he will have the inside for turn 5, so I don't think MJ Coop's going to be able to do anything about that. Although maybe a bit of a switchback action, this could be a move for the Red Bull. No, he does not. I think he was thinking about committing to it, but he did stay behind him for the time being. So, the 7th position, it went from 4 places battling to now just the 2, and it's the 2 Honda powered cars of MJ Coop and Dre Gio. At the moment, MJ Coop just doing all he can. He wants to try and get past Dre Gio, and there you go, DRS now wide open for him. He's done it a bit smarter this time. All he has to do is just get him in the DRS zone, and Dre Gio is now down into P8 once again. MJ Coop, he didn't wait until the start finish line once again, but he's got him on at least a DRS section. So MJ Coop now P7 on track. As a bit of a shaky exit for Dre Gio. That's going to allow MJ Coop just to move his way up a bit further, and I think he may even retain that P7. Yeah, he's already out of a second from DRS, so I mean, this is the point in the race. We've still got another 4 more laps left to go, but this is the point in the race where it starts to just die down a little bit. But as I was saying about Skyzy, the last 2 races for him have just not gone his way whatsoever. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. It didn't go his way. Now, well, he's doing an absolutely stellar job. He's 6 seconds in the lead. I don't see him getting a puncture this time. As long as he doesn't actually bottle it and touch wood wherever he doesn't, then he will manage to take the race win once again. Scope, I just want to say, impressive 2nd place as well. I did say it's going to be a Renault 1-2, and it's looking like it's going to be a Renault 1-2. However, I didn't anticipate the 3rd place would be the other Williams. Although saying that, it could be the Haas, because Lacqueret, as I said, from my knowledge, has 2 3-second time penalties, whereas Mags hasn't got 1. And Farnham, he's 5 seconds behind the Haas driver, which in turn is about 7.4 seconds behind Lacqueret. So if Lacqueret picks up another penalty, then it could be the chance that he drops about 2 places. Farnham picks himself up at 4th position, and Mags picks himself up at 3rd. But that's if Lacqueret picks himself up another 3-second time penalty. We have got 3 laps left to go off the race, and Skyzy, the man we're on board with at the moment, he's just driving in a race of his own. He must be getting a little bit bored up here, just driving on his own, as there are more yellow flags. I believe that is fashion on his wet tyres. Still no idea why he's on them, but just going around at the exit of Sector 3. But yeah, as I said, a few gaps going in between at the moment. Fashion wants to be careful he doesn't cause a safety car or anything like that, though, because then it's going to massively backfire. Although I suppose, because Skyzy's already gone past, I don't think there is going to be another safety car. So I feel like that there aren't going to be any more safety cars or anything like that come out, and it's just going to be pure racing from here on out. As I see a little bit of a battle that is about to commence, as Skyzy going on to, or is just about to approach the penultimate lap of the race. MJ Coop has got DRS to the Italian and Gaudio, and this is where we could be seeing a battle going on for P6. MJ Coop, by the way, again, another one I'm going to have to take a quick look at, as Gaudio has that 3-second time penalty now, so he's safe from so Farnham is now safe from maybe getting overtaken by the McLaren from penalties. But it just looks like MJ Cooper's just sort of lost it a little bit compared to the Italian of Gaudio. So I think this might be the order we're going to see. Of course, it's going to differ for the top four, as MJ Cooper's just going very, very wide out of the exit of turn 6. But I'm under the impression that Mags hasn't got a penalty. I'm still under the impression that he hasn't got a penalty. I won't check the race director because we're so close to the end of the race. I don't want to sort of spoil it. MJ Coupe, by the way, I don't know what has happened because Gaudio is going very, very slowly. He's caught up to the Italian by about 7 tenths just now. So I'm not so sure what happened to Gaudio, but Skyzy goes on to the final lap of the race and now does Scope and Lacquerate as well. And Lacquerate, he needs to get a bit of a movement because, as I said, I'm under the impression that Mags doesn't have another penalty. So if he doesn't, then Lacquerate is going to lose that podium position and go down into 4th, and Mags will take his first podium of the season. As I said, we've only got one more lap to do this, and now MJ Coupe trying to go down the inside of Gaudio in towards turn 2. Very, very close between the pair of them, but I think he's gotten that move done. MJ Coupe, yep, that is him up into P6, and of course Gaudio also has a penalty now, so that really was just on track between the two of them, and unless any mistakes happen between the pair of them or any sort of DRS issues, then I think this might be the way it's going to stick. Again, Gaudio doing a stellar job of just keeping up to the back of him as fashion. 10-second time penalty, and has actually retired from the session. And that is at the beginning of Sector 3. But it's on Skyzy. He's had that dry spell for those last 2, now technically 3 races. Baku had the race ban, disqualified in Hungary. Unfortunate not managing to pick up a victory in the Spa. And now, around Russia, he is making up for it. One more corner left to go for the Frenchman as he comes around that final corner to win the Russian Grand Prix for the PC side. Congratulations to Skyzy for taking the win on that one. Scope coming across the line to finish in 2nd place. It was a 1-2 for the Renaults. 3rd comes Lacquerate, but does Stefano? No, he does not. 4th place for Mags. He did have a penalty that I did not know about. Farnham comes home to take 5th place. Gaudio does jump MJ Coupe, and Dre Gio also jumps MJ Coupe, so he must have had an extra penalty to his name that I did not know of. Crayon, by the way, I said at the beginning of this stream, he only had 1 points finish, and he only had 1 point, and he's just now about to triple those points, because he's about to come home, and he's about to finish in P9, the Mercedes. He takes his 2nd points finish of the season. 5-second time penalty that was unserved, but I'm not too sure it's going to matter. And for Primal Pro Sniper on his debut, he will come home to finish and take the final points position. Primal Pro Sniper along the line and picks up a point on his debut race. So very well done to them all. And I mean, I've got to give. It says driver of the day is going to be Dre Gio. I've got a couple of contentions. And I'm gonna start off with my first 2. I'm gonna say Skyzy because he just drove an absolute stellar race. The only one that really got in his way was Malc, and even then he got disqualified. Again, still not too sure as to why. But the other one I'm gonna go with is for Farnham because he started, to my knowledge, quite a bit down the field. He started, I think it was down in 12th or 13th. I can't remember. Sorry, it was 11th or 12th. Where was it? 11th, and he still came back to take 5th position. Same with Dre Gio, 14th up to 7th. Absolutely impressive between the pair of them, but Farnham, I feel like he just drove a much better race than what Dre Gio did today. And I feel like him and Skyzy, for certain, take the driver of the day for me. It's between those 2, but yeah, very amazing between the pair of them. But as I said, it is a Renault 1-2. Skyzy and Scope taking those top 2 positions. Lacquerate, first podium of the season for the Williams. Very good drive from him. He takes 3rd place. Mags, it was so close. 4th position for him. He could have done without a penalty. If he didn't, that would have been his first podium of the season as well. Farnham picking up 5th place. Gaudio in 6th with Dre Geo in 7th, MJ Coop in 8th, Crayon 2nd points position of the season in 9th, Primal Pro Sniper in 10th, and then of course our unfortunate DNFs of Fashion, Typhoon, Kenners, SK Fast, Plop, Yos and Mercked with that disqualification. But that has been it for the Russian Grand Prix for Invictus. That was the penultimate round. Next week is the final round for the first season of the PC League for Invictus. Make sure you guys are tuning in next week at 8 PM. Once again, as always, for the final race around Vietnam, because it's going to be a big one. So make sure you guys are tuning in. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will catch you guys next week for the final race of the season around Vietnam.